Come on. Come on. Come on, girls. The cows would not move through there until I pulled the side-by-side through. I guess I had to prove to them that the wire wasn't really there anymore. Now they got her figured out. We have been giving these cows anywhere between a third and a half acre a day probably. We've really slowed them down because we've been dry, and we've been dry twice this year for a long time. But we got some rain the past couple days finally. It's some pretty good grass that they're coming into. I think this has had probably close to 110 days rest now, I would say. I got a water line running across that gap right there, and those cows did not want to go across it. Come on, girls. It is a good bit of grass in here right now. These calves are looking pretty good. That paddock was grazed Probably about 14 or 15 days ago, and we took it down pretty far, and with just a little bit of moisture, it's really greened up and bounced back. I'll take you over here and show you what it looks like after they get done grazing. So we just moved them over there. They were in this strip. This is a paddock. It's about 7 acres probably. And we've had them off this side for probably about six or 7 days now, I would say. We just had a lane set up here for them to come back to water. We just have a piece of poly pipe running out here a little ways, going to a hose to feed this trough. I don't know if you can see the difference on camera between the alley and that paddock that they had grazed before, but it is very important, I think, to get them off of an area. Once you take it down, that grass really wants to try to come back pretty quick. So setting up a back fence is pretty important when you're taking the grass down that far. I mean, I guess it's important all the time, but it's just more noticeable when you really take the grass down really far, because it's, especially if you get rain, that stuff, it'll try to shoot up 2 or 3 inches just overnight sometimes. There's manure everywhere over here. This is already greened up a lot just overnight. It's really hard to walk without stepping on any manure. Yeah, so far I'm pretty sold on this type of grazing. This is the first year we've done it this hardcore and this long, but so far I did not see any negative effects from it. Everything just seems positive so far, and it's been dry. That's why we ended up started to do it. So if it works when it's dry, then it ought to work even better when you're getting plenty of rain. But most places, even without getting much rain, within like 45 days, really, you could graze it again. It's recovered. We're not, but we're getting closer to like 100 days of rest right now. But we're gonna add some cattle for next year, because I think we could handle some more, and that should speed up the rotation just a little bit. It's pretty neat to see it though. You can definitely make them eat stuff that I never knew you could. And I feel like we're utilizing pretty much every blade of grass on the farms now, where before they would, I honestly think that we weren't grazing but about half of our farms probably. We were just letting them be so selective. And the cattle were fatter that way, but they're definitely not in bad shape now. We're getting ready to preg check some here in another month or so, so we'll see how all that pans out. They have a lot of good grass ahead of them though. And that knapweed, you can see all the purple flowers or pink flowers over there. And I mean, they totally wipe it out. They have definitely learned to eat that and be happy doing it. I just moved their salt over there for them, and I thought that I should add, a lot of people that are doing this type of grazing, they're moving their animals, I don't know, anywhere between 2 and 4 times a day, or sometimes even more than that. But we have a few different herds kind of spread out around the county, so it would really be about impossible for me to move all of them more than once a day. So right now we're trying to just get by with doing daily moves everywhere, just once a day. And we're not letting half of the farm stockpile either. We're just continuing going around the whole farm. So we'll see how it pans out compared to people that are. I got a buddy he's stockpiled probably a third to a half of his farm, so I'm anxious to see how it works out for both of us. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong grazing this way. The cattle really don't seem to be suffering from it. And we're pushing them more than we normally do, but I don't think we're pushing them, to a point where it's gonna cause problems. They're never totally out of feed. They might have stuff that they don't prefer to eat, but when we move them, they're typically full, and they still had something that they could have ate. So I just wanted to share that with you. I was letting this trough drain here, and I thought that I would say something else, just so I don't mislead anybody. We have a group of steers that we finish for beef, and we definitely don't graze them this way. We do let them be a little more selective with their grazing, just so we really don't push them hardly at all. That way they can pack on the pounds as quick as they can and finish good. So I just thought I would let y'all know about that. But some of these animals, you probably could graze them the way we are. I mean, some of these cows are still good and fat and have, good cover on their backs and on their tail heads. So the right type of animal probably could be grazed this way and finished. But it does take the right type of animal. Ain't that right, buddy? Hey, buddy. Well, I just want to bring you guys along and show you what we had going on. Y'all have a good one.